Hi. So today I want to talk about something like our fundamentals, our core, who we are, what we believe in. And, like I wish I would sort of have more scientific coverage or knowledge to give you more of the quality content, but this is more from my perspective, how I see it, how I understand it, while not having all the explanations fully. This is just like, hey, look, here's what I see. And for me, like all of us have some sort of core beliefs and fundamentals and understanding of reality and how things are. And sometimes we take some of the things for granted. Like, for example, like I'm healthy, relatively speaking. Like I have my legs, they're working properly. I have my arms, they're working properly. But tomorrow I can get into the car accident and break something, lose something, and all of a sudden the part of my life that was working 100% is now gone. And I'm like, damn, how am I going to live? My life changes overnight like that. But it can be much more simple stuff. It can be like, let's say for me, from my own personal experience, I was like getting in my like 20s and like, what do I want to do in life? What would make me happy? And I was looking to the people I admire. What would I like to learn and do in life? And, like, oh, life coaching seemed like a thing, like I would love to learn as much as possible. I've gone through some stuff myself. I'm talking to people with their varieties of stories. So, like, all of these experiences and to learn more to become the best aspect of myself and give more to others was actually very appealing. So I started taking courses and like, hey, I'm going to become a life coach and, like learning all the basics and things and stuff. And then people I admire, like Gary Vaynerchuk, said, you can't be a life coach when you're in your 20s or, like you're fucking young. Like no one's going to listen to you. And for me, like, it's like, man, and never thought about it. But the way he put it, like, who's going to listen to a child that has no experience when you're talking to 50, 60, 70-year-old people and they're like, they need help, for example, and they're listening to a child, like, they're going to send you so far. So from my experience, like it was just like I had this goal, I have my fundamentals, I'm working on stuff, and was kind of like shattered, and that was somewhat of a shock to my system. So when there is some sort of loss in your life, when you get some sort of shock, it can be big or very light, but it will affect your physical body, and you can get sick really fast, like catching cold or flu, simple things in your body, just like, oh fuck, error, and everything kind of turns off, and that shock will make an impact, and next day you notice like you have sniffles, you have a cough, you're not feeling too well, and it can be just 2-3 days and you're recovered and you're back to normal. But a lot of times it's simple things that we don't notice, like it's not your immune system being bad, is that loss, is that shock, is that stress in your body that crashes everything and affects how you feel and like next day. So like I'm bringing this up because there's a lot of things happening in our daily life. And I was using this metaphor yesterday in my video, but basically, like, when you have a problem, and as a metaphor, your car doesn't start, and oh, what's the issue, why doesn't it start, and you open up the hood and you start working on it and trying to figuring it out, like there can be one problem, but there's going to be tons of related things that you can find that are wrong with it. But eventually, if you're running around in life trying to solve your issue without knowing what's wrong, like you're not going to get far. Like, for example, okay, you just got this shock to your system, you got this loss, and you're like, oh, I have a cold or flu, and bam, my immune system is not working and everything else. But you have to look at what caused it, because once you know what the problem is for real, what the cause is, then you can work at eliminating it. And again, like having understanding of, oh, well, this is the cause, then you can go all in into helping out yourself, having understanding of this is the problem, I know how to deal with it, and you're going to get better like so fast. But it's little things in your daily life. It can be you having some sort of belief about how reality works. Maybe you believe in you having a soul and your afterlife and what you're going to do afterwards. And then someone you like or admire or, learning from says otherwise, and it crashes your beliefs, and like, well, I heard a lot of people say this, I had understanding about this, and now this person I love says that. It's contradicting. It kind of like shakes your fundamentals, shakes your core and how you fully understand everything. And that thing can really affect you. And that's like with me, like, like I'm learning certain things and I like really get into it and I practice it, and then someone I love and admire says this and I'm like, it doesn't work together, and then my system will react. So like I wonder how many of you might have experienced something similar. Like from my perspective, it's just like really important to kind of like find the cause. Like it can be very, very simple, small stuff, but you look at, did you lose anything? Like even how you view yourself, how you like, how much you like yourself, your self-esteem and all the stuff. Or is it a shock? Like, you had it really well, like, and then all of a sudden a loss, like someone dies maybe in your life. Maybe you lose something big, or let's say, like it's a huge loss or whatever. But that thing can affect your life big time. And then you will not notice how in a very short period of time you can get sick. And so like I'm just bringing it up because I'm noticing in my life and people around, and I'm like, you ask a few questions, what happened and all the stuff, and you track down and like it was just basic things, but it's a repetitive pattern of it was either a loss or their belief system, their fundamentals. Let's say a person was like, hey, I weigh this much, my body looks like this. I'm, like they see themselves in a way, and then without realizing, like a few months later, just getting off their diet, getting around their usual like the activity, something changes in their world, and they look back into the mirror or they get on the weight machine, or I mean like not weight, but like scale, and all of a sudden you see, oh damn, I gained some weight. And your reality of who you are, how you look like, how you are changes, and that alone can affect your feeling state. And next thing you know, you have a little sniffles and like not doing too good. So again, like if you can just track down the cause, what were you believing in, what was your core, your fundamentals that might have got shaken, not necessarily destroyed will make a much bigger problem than just sniffles. But like again, it's working on two things: taking care of your body by finding what was the cause, what caused the issue, and then another thing, putting back yourself together. Like for me, when I look at what I believe in, what is my core, like the way I understand reality, I look at tons of different things. I have curiosity. And then the things that fit my point of view, I will take it. Let's say I can listen to Tony Robbins or Gary Vee or David Icke or Neville Goddard and like tons of other people. And there can be certain phrases, certain things they say that I'm like, that is the thing. Yeah, I believe in that. And you take that one thing out of many. Like you can all listen to me talk about various topics and focus on all these things, and you're like, yeah, that's cool. And 90% of what I say you can like, yeah, whatever, and just goes over you. You don't really care. But there might be some phrases that like, that was a good one. Yeah, I like that one. It feels empowering, it feels real to me. And you take that one thing out of many. You don't necessarily have to believe everything I say, and that's really good. Like pick out things, cherry pick the best stuff that like really goes with your reality. And then, like as you get better in life, you're going through all various stages of how you are, your beingness. And you might have gone from this depressed and suicidal and anxious to, like kind of like fearful and like being abandoned and tons of other things. And then, going through the hate stages and finally finding love, and somewhere that you've been in the lust and you wanting things. And then eventually you get stronger in life. You get better. You finally like see your goal, who you are. You're applying various teachings and you get into that place of power. Not necessarily, I'm the best, I am the leader or the boss, and you listen to me. No, it is feeling powerful. It's like, damn, I love myself. I feel like I can do this, whatever this is. I can take the trash. Yeah. And that powerfulness that you feel like you're excited, you feel good about yourself, you're confident, and you're going at it. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, but you have this self-love, which is very needed in today's world. And when you have this power, like you have to preserve it. You have to save it, because there's going to be tons of things happening. And one of the things that's going to appear is like naturally attracting it is contradicting philosophies. And I'm saying naturally attracting. It's kind of for me suspicious where, I can take full responsibility of everything that's going on. But at the same time, it's kind of like a pattern in a lot of people's lives where it's just going to appear. You're in that power level, and then you're going to have contradicting philosophies or some events happening that's going to smash you down from where you were. And again, you reach the high and you go low, and you have to work at finding, what can I do to stay in that high place? What can I do to remain and have this same old thinking or things I do? Like it can be your habits, your little techniques, like maybe you meditate, maybe you visualize stuff, maybe you have a, healthy diet, what you consider to be healthy diet. You're working on yourself in various ways and you get better. And then, tons of things can happen in the background that will somehow distract you or kind of be like, well, hey, you're using this diet, but this is much better, and what you were doing was wrong. And it's like, oh, fuck. And, it can crash your belief system, or like you felt like you were getting a lot done with this. And all of a sudden, seems to be much better because someone you admire or like said, or, your coach says, I've just changed my whole belief system because of this. So we're going to change it. And then you're like, damn, like I've been so successful with this and I'm going to lose it. And that's like, again, it can be a shock to your system. So for me, like we have to, again, stay in the place of power. It's not like to overwhelm others, to take over, to cause chaos or control or anything else. It's because when you're in the powerful state, you can do so much. You're not a victim anymore. You're not hurt. A lot of things happen to you and you can't feel hurt and you can't feel like a victim. But when you're in the power, you're giving, you're fighting, you're doing, and fighting not necessarily just kicking someone's ass and beating someone up. It's like, hey, I'm going to help out humanity. I'm going to do something important. It's contributing, it's growing, it's getting better in every possible way. And that's great. And all of us need it somehow, And if you just like lose it because someone says something, then you go back all the way to that drain and like, oh, look, I'm back at that state where I used to be. And again, it's the story that we tell to ourselves, our habits, the patterns, and we have to look at that and what causes it. And eventually you just have to keep on cherry picking, keep on building your own belief system, your own fundamentals, your core, and work around you. Like you necessarily don't have to listen to anyone. Like if you admire someone and they say something contradicting with something else, or you're doing something and it like really changes, like let's say even now there's like a lot of things going on with Joe Rogan. Poor guy getting all this attention, and like if he stands up for himself, he's standing up for the freedom of speech. If he gives in, people are like, oh man, and like I thought Joe Rogan is this, and all of a sudden he's giving in, and like, fuck, and like simple things like that. But how we view the world, what we believe in, what we focus on can change our reality at any point in time. And every day it's a battle for getting better, for growing, for saving yourself in a way and helping out others, contributing somehow. So, like this is my message for the day. You just have to, like a lot of things happen. You can like view things that cause a problem and what happened exactly that shook my system, shook my fundamentals, or either destroyed it. And what can I do to build things back together, get back on my feet, make my fundamentals, my beliefs stronger. And at the same time, you don't have to be an asshole. Like, I don't believe what you're saying, like that's cool. Like however you express yourself, but like just having your core, for me, this is again like the trait I can admire in Gary Vaynerchuk. Like a lot of people might view him as hustler and everything else, but like when I see him, for me, it's like an example of some of the things that I would like to have myself. And it's where he knows who he is and he likes himself that way. And no matter what anyone else can say about him, even if it's someone he admires and loves a lot, he has his core belief about who he is, how he's doing stuff, and he loves himself, not in a vain way, but he's a very giving guy and everything else. But like no one is going to shake that core. No one's going to change that guy. And a lot of people can be like, well, I love this person. I admire them. Like they're, like they might be your husband or wife or best friend or teacher or, whatever in your life. And one thing they say, and it's kind of like, feel like you have to listen to them, even though, like, damn, like I really like them, but I don't really fuck. And like, it kind of like you're going into people's pleasing mode, or really like, like, I feel like because I like them, I should be that way instead of having my own beliefs. So like, like I'm saying this because sometimes I might talk about subjects that might contradict to your beliefs. So please cherry pick what I say. Not necessarily everything I say will be true to you. It's all subjective. And if whatever I say might go with against what you believe in, that's fine. Just don't agree with me. Keep on going with your beliefs and go with the others as well. Like question everything, pick out the best stuff, build up your own, fundamentals, your own core so that you would stay strong and keep on growing, empower yourself, get better, and just go with being the best aspect of yourself in this world. So that's for today. Thanks for watching. And hopefully this was somehow useful. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.